Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. Wow. What a hole. What a hole. That's what Patrick Mahomes is saying this morning.
Chicago sports.
That's what Drake is saying this morning.
Oh.
Breeze Nation, what is good, man? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. We got a lot to get into on today's episode. What a sports weekend. Hubie Brown's last call.
Yeah, shout out Hubie.
Into Super Bowl Sunday. And a phenomenal game. Kendrick Lamar actually said it.
He was teasing me too.
And man, what can this Bears team learn from the two teams that we saw in the Super Bowl today? We'll talk about all that more on today's episode of The Morning Breeze. I have some interesting takeaways from this game that kind of make me a little bit sad in free agency, but we'll see what ends up happening after after all of this is over, man. But hey, the date is 2/10/2025. It's 7:04 in the doggone morning.
Oh yeah.
And Jordan JC, I have it on good authority. Drake's dead.
Oh.
I don't know how you come back from that.
Game over.
I don't know how you come back from that, my guy.
Game over.
Jesus.
Hey, Drake.
As a fellow mixed child, just go to the white side, brother. Just go hang out with the white folks.
Leave the culture.
Cookout is a dangerous place for you.
Culture, yeah.
You're gonna be messed up at every cookout from here on out. Jesus.
Man.
Oh my goodness. Breeze Nation, what's good, man? Appreciate y'all for tuning in to the show and love. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again, joined by Mr. Meaty, Jordan James. As always, man, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit the button. Push the goddamn button. Primetime Podcast said, dang, Pat, just gonna let your fellow light-skinned brother stay on the ground. Hey, I was helping stomp him out. I ain't even gonna stuck with you. Hey.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. It was everybody versus Drake yesterday.
Oh my God, bro.
Everybody.
I couldn't believe. See, this is the thing. I knew that he was going to do the song. You had to know he was going to do the song. It's the biggest song of the summer. You had to know he was going to do the song.
Easy.
What I didn't know was how epic he was going to do it, and then you were going to bring out the one that got away and have her crip walk on his grave.
Bro.
Serena Williams coming out was like, and there was so many people there that was like, why was Serena important? And she from Compton, so I get it. And I was like, that was his thing. That was Drake's thing.
There's layers to this. His ex,
oh my God.
Well, she was stepping all on that man. Oh,
I didn't think somebody could get beat worse than the Chiefs did yesterday, but it was Drake by halftime.
Drake got eliminated. His team got
oh man, out. Can you come back from that? That's the question. Can you come back from that? Jesus.
How?
R.I.P.
A diss track, winning Grammy and Super Bowl. Come on.
Well, there was a football game yesterday, Jordan.
Oh,
JC.
yeah, there
was a football game yesterday. The Kansas City Chiefs got stomped out just like Serena did on Drake there. 40-22. They took the L. I mean, the game looked over very early on.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was no I don't know what happened to the Chiefs, but they looked unprepared for the first time ever to play a Super Bowl game. And first off, credit to former Chicago Bear coach Vic Fangio getting that Super Bowl ring, dialing up a defense that was dominant, that was attacking, that was at Patrick Mahomes' heels every single step of the way.
Snap. Yes.
I mean, just on them completely. 6 sacks in the game. For defense, they were after him completely. I thought that it was a pure and utter domination. Thank you. So that's how the Chiefs played yesterday. Just absolutely got after him. And listen, it was one of those games where, remember the first Super Bowl, you know, it's kind of like, ooh, the Philly just doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
That was the get back game. That was this means more than just winning this game. This means, hey, we got to show you not only do we belong here, but we belong as the champions of this league, and we're here to rule this for a little while. This ain't just something that's going to be a flash in the pan, and we got an Eli championship out of this one. This is that was my biggest takeaway. This is not an Eli championship. This team belongs here, and the quarterback helped them get here, and the running back helped them get here, but the trenches absolutely matter.
Trenches matter. Trenches mattered, man. Shout out Samurai J for the super chat. What does he got going on there, Pat?
3P Pat. This ain't a movie, dog. Wild.
It ain't a movie. It ain't a movie.
Hey,
it
this ain't a movie, dog.
It didn't end out the way everybody expected, and I called it. I was there in PK's face yesterday. He thought Kansas City was just going to roll over the Eagles and just more and more during the first half. You saw the dominance in the trenches from both sides. I mean, the amount of pressure that they continue to put on Patrick Mahomes, he couldn't get comfortable. He was making some very unorthodox throws. I mean, throwing it straight to what's your boy's name? The DeJean Cooper. Oh, Cooper DeJean had a game of his life on his B-Day.
Shout out to the rookie. Shout out
had
to
a game of his life. You will definitely get some credit for that. But I mean, just the amount of pressure, and also might I add, a guy that we're high on, maybe Josh Sweat, had a really, really good game as well. Yeah. That's someone that we may keep an eye on. But I mean, overall, you saw the Chiefs; they looked very unprepared in the first half. Not a lot of times going to Travis Kelce, but even when he did go to Travis Kelce, they didn't look on the same page. Like a few throws behind him, a few throws that he didn't catch. There was one throw over the middle wide open to DeAndre Hopkins. For whatever reason, he didn't come down with it. He showed a little bit of his age because usually he's very sure-handed. And then they finally—
I was surprised when he dropped it.
It was incredibly unorthodox. And then they figured it out. For whatever reason, they found some sort of game plan when Xavier Worthy just kept running down the field. Like, you're faster than everybody else. Just go long. And they finally scored back-to-back. So he had the game of his life. But, I mean, overall, this was just a Philly beatdown. This was a big beatdown where it was just obvious the team came to play. And like you said, the most important thing, which we need to address as well, and I know we'll talk about it, is both sides of the trenches. The defense was just on it, and then when it came to the run game, when it came to the pass game, Jalen Hurts had time to throw. Even when he evaded pressure, I mean, got out of the pocket, he avoided, he got out of contain, and was able to just dot up the Chiefs' defense. And Spagnuolo, I mean, he didn't have his greatest game. So hey, I am very, very surprised, but very happy that the underdog won.
Listen, it was when I watched that game, and I think, listen, we can get into it, right? But it showed me, it didn't show me. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't know it. But I think a lot of us have just kind of ignored it and said, go offense, go offense, go offense, go offense. You got to invest in the offense. And you do. You have to invest in the offensive side of the trenches because that is a big part of Jalen Hurts' game yesterday, right? Yeah. Like it is a massive part of how well Jalen Hurts played. I mean, he was protected all day yesterday. The couple of times that he wasn't protected were the moments where all of a sudden, right, oh, snap, I got to get the heck up out of here. Let me use my feet. And he has a great ability to do that, which I think is an ability. I don't know. He seems the healthiest we've seen him in a long time.
He
Because
does.
he is fast again.
He looked a
There
little
was a
faster.
couple
I
years
agree.
where he was slow all of a sudden. I was like, what the heck happened to Jalen?
Running in mud.
Used to
Yep.
move.
Running in mud. Yep.
And he got all of that speed back. But I don't think I think that the mindset of you'll just figure it out on the defensive line. And listen, it's the Chicago Bears. They will. Right? They truly will. You will figure something out on the defensive line. But now I'm so much back in on heavily. If you got an opportunity to get one of these big names, if there's a Myles Garrett available, if there's a Micah Parsons available, do it. What we saw yesterday was not David taking down Goliath. That was David letting Goliath know, hey, dog, we got these dogs over here, right? It ain't just me here. I got guys standing behind me. That defensive line was God yesterday.
Was God like, yeah.
You can invest in the offense. You can have this great offense, and I want them to invest in the offensive line. But you cannot ignore the defensive line because of what we saw yesterday. You took away Pat Mahomes' GOAT status. He was getting ready to be crowned the GOAT. And you had his head spinning all day. He looked like Game 6 of the season Caleb Williams. Didn't know where to go, running around, trying to find somebody open. Can't get time to get the ball out. The offense is very important, but do not neglect the defensive side of the trenches. That was my biggest takeaway from yesterday's game. Shout out Dwan Threats. Said Trey Smith looked pedestrian yesterday, fellas. Did his stock go down? No, bad game. Bad game. And because of what I just said. Stock didn't go down. He's been great all season. He's been great against great defenses all season. What I do think happened yesterday is he may not leave now, which is a little bit sad because I think they looked at yesterday and they were like, "Oh, so we need to build up these trenches. We might have to let this DB walk away." I think you might see Duffy get out of there before you see Trey Smith.
Really? You think they might address Trey first?
Pat got 6.5 sacks yesterday.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah, they gotta build them trenches up. I don't know if you can let him out the building. But we'll see. But
look here, that if that's the way they go, that would suck. But I mean, we will see how the offseason look. But I love the fact that you said that's where it was won and lost. I mean, the defensive side of for the Philadelphia Eagles were just hitting on all cylinders. And yes, you want to address offensive line. That is very important for the protection of your quarterback. But I mean, on the other side of the ball, when you put so much pressure constantly over and over on a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, where it kind of just gets him out of his comfort zone, even to the point where, he's actually very masterful when it comes to off script. And even when he went off script and tried to find lanes and tried to get out of the pocket, it was like they were just containing, or they just found a way. They got a lot of speed on that line as well. Jalen Hunt, the rookie, we talked about it, is very fast as well for an end. You know what Josh Sweat does? I mean, there were just people all over the place. The 2 interceptions they had, that was a product of that line. And as you mentioned before, when you have the 4 up front that are creating that pressure, that makes everybody else's job behind them even easier. That's where Zach Bond got that interception, which, by the way, again, unorthodox, because it almost looked as if Patrick Mahomes said, "Here you go. I'm gonna give you this so you can score points before."
I don't know who he was going to. I don't know where he was trying to go there.
Who? He was literally giving it right to him. I said, "This is insane."
Yeah.
And then, of course, we talked about the Cooper DeJean run back. So, again, very impressive. Yes, that's how you make the defense hum like that, is when you address everything up front. And mind you, I don't know. I'm looking over the stats. Jalen Carter didn't even have an impact. I don't know if he even played, because I know he was sick during the week, and there were some things going on. But it doesn't show him having any stats. So, I mean, you had one of your best pass rushers not even have an impact on the game if he was out there for the few plays that he was.
Yeah.
And you still had that team. So again, that's why it's important to not only address the trenches, but to have that depth as well, because you got a lot of dogs on that team that are ready to go when their name is called. And so, yeah, gotta love it.
It's just I think the thing is too is it's again we're so focused on getting the offense right, and I'm not saying don't invest in the offensive trenches, but we don't think about how easy things can be made for an offense with a dominant defense. And we keep going, like we keep having it's an offensive league. It's an offensive league. It's an offensive league. What won the last 2 Super Bowls?
Defense.
You do have to have that dominant defense. If you don't, you will not win.
Yeah.
If you don't, you will not win. The days of I feel like people take the Super Bowls that the Chiefs had where they were just outscoring everybody and have said, well, that's the way to win in this league. And yes, it is a factor. You do need to outscore people. You do need to be able to put up a lot of points. And when they were putting up 30, 40 points in a game, right, it was crazy to see, and they were just eviscerating everybody, and they won. But that was a moment. That is not the seasons that we have seen recently. The teams that get to the Super Bowl the last couple of years have been the 2 best defenses in the NFL.
That's not a coincidence. Yeah.
That's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
Defense wins championships. The better defense, and you want to know when I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. There's a play. Go back and watch. I think it's the Eagles' first drive, and I'm sitting there, and I'm not gonna lie. I was rooting for the Chiefs. I wanted to see history.
Okay.
I wanted to see history. I wanted to see the
not
Chiefs.
Not a bad reason. Yeah.
I want to see the Chiefs win the Super Bowl 3 times in a row and make history and all of that. But there was a play early on where Chris Jones was, I'm trying to remember specifically where he was trying to rush to, but either way, he ends up on the center. And who's they center? Cam Jurgens, right? Is they center? Cam Jurgens.
Yes.
Absolutely just perfect technique, perfect everything. Chris Jones couldn't move. He couldn't move. And I was like, ooh, this may be a long day.
Yeah.
Hey, I literally turned to everybody in the party, and I'm probably the only one watching the trenches. I was like, did y'all just see Chris Jones get manhandled?
They're like, who? What's going on? He was like,
I was in disbelief. I've never seen Chris Jones get manhandled. He looked like Braxton Jones.
Ooh, hello. My goodness.
Actually, to be realistic, on the same side of the ball, he looked like Zach Pickens. He looked like Zach Pickens.
Massive, looks talented, but just got held up.
And I was just like, I've never seen Chris Jones get handled like that. This may actually be a long day. And that continued for the rest of the day. Consistent pressure on the Eagles' defensive side and great play in the trenches on the offensive side. You need both. And that's why, to me, like, my takeaway from this game is invest as heavily as you can. And if you have an opportunity to create one of those defensive lines like what the Chiefs have, I don't think that you turn your back on that.
You have so many opportunities in this upcoming free agency and the draft to do just that. We talked about, is there a possibility where we can afford, or do we get luxurious and just move all in, go up and try to get a guy like a Michael Parsons or a Mason Graham, which, those positions that they dominated the game yesterday. The linebacker / edge rusher, the inside, presence for the Eagles, like that's what dominated on that line. And so you wonder, okay, do we go all in, or as I've seen in the chat, do we still bring up the Myles Garrett conversation, or the Max Crosby conversation? Do we put our chips in the middle of the table and say, hey, let's kind of sacrifice some of these picks and get the guy that's the obvious, game wrecker at edge or the game wrecker inside and just, try to address everything else in free agency and work around the draft and evaluate talent that way. So we will see. I mean, the Bears clearly, if they've watched this game, obviously, I'm sure everybody's eyes were on the game. There's a blueprint to be had here. There's a blueprint because you just took down a team that was going for history, and you took them down fairly easily. Like you kind of skated in the second half and just kind of cruised to a victory. And so that's how you want it to look. That's how you want it to look on both sides of the ball.
And you know what? You brought up something that we didn't put on the list of things to talk about, but I do want to talk about it. And then, of course, we got to talk about, back to the Super Bowl, the conversation around Jalen Hurts and does that have to change? But you brought up Micah Parsons, and we saw this weekend that there might be some interest in trading Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
If that interest is there, could the Chicago Bears be one of those teams? And y'all know how it goes. Whenever you want to know what, I was proud of Bears. I was proud of Bears media or Bears Twitter this weekend. I'm not gonna lie to you. When Deebo Samuel name came up for trade, everybody unanimously just kind of went, no. I was waiting for the think pieces on, but Deebo's got this and he can make them. Everybody went, no.
We're good.
We're learning. We're getting it. Trenches are important. Trenches are important. You know what I mean? Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Let's do a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, I want to talk about that Micah Parsons conversation. Could we see the Chicago Bears get involved in trading for Micah Parsons? Should we see the Chicago Bears get involved in trading for Micah Parsons? All that and more coming up after this. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold.
When a severe storm hits, hail and high-speed winds can cause excessive damage to your home. This can lead to blown-off shingles, broken windows, siding damage, and leaking inside. If you suspect your home has been hit with storm damage, contact CNN Construction today. We are a proud GAF Master Elite contractor, offering free exterior home inspection for storm-related damages. CNN is a reputable licensed roofing and general contractor working hand-in-hand with insurance companies and homeowners every step of the way through the difficult claims and restoration process. We will meet with your insurance adjuster to discuss the damages to your property, the value of those repairs, and the scope of work needed at your home. Our skilled team has you covered and will leave your home looking brand new. Give us a call today at 844-415-ROOF or visit our website at cnroofs.com for a free exterior inspection. CNN Construction. We find the solutions, not the excuses.
Welcome back. I bet Drake's listening to that Aura music this morning.
Wide open.
Oh, no!
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Wide open.
We actually got some exclusive footage from the Super Bowl of what Kendrick did to Drake. And take that
You
dang it.
That
Poor lady. pure and utter distraction. You know, Drake looked at his TV once and just went,
Yeah. And then he turned it off. Turn your TV off.
hey, perfectly timed show, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. That bro, like as far as Super Bowl halftime shows, bro, that's an all-time great, dog.
Right. That's up there. That's up there with I think Prince and
It just keeps dropping.
he keeps it wah, 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 wah,
Again.
Shout
Dog,
out,
it's so funny because somebody on Twitter tweeted at me, was like, bro, the Super Bowl halftime show wasn't even that good, bro. Like SZA carried.
Okay.
And I was like, dog, let it go. It's over. You lost.
Are you serious?
There's still some of those Drake fans out there. Hey, man, let's get into the conversation because I thought that you brought this up, the conversation around Michael Parsons and the possibility of him getting traded. And Molly Mall in the chat immediately was like, we're not trading. We do this with our superstars every year. I do agree. I don't think that Michael Parsons is getting traded. I don't think that Myles Garrett is getting traded. Excuse me.
Yeah.
What I do think is that these guys are doing this to try and get a little bit more money out of there. But what I want to see is Ryan Poles doing his due diligence. Let's pick up the phone. Let's get a conversation out here. And at least have the mindset of, if that guy is available, I'm willing to give what it takes to get that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Parsons being rumored I shouldn't say this. From what Ian Rappaport said, it sounds like the Cowboys have apparently had some internal discussions about trading Michael Parsons. Now, this is the hilarious part. As they break it down, as Ian Rappaport breaks it down even more, right? The Luka Doncic move is kind of one reason why he might not get traded. Because Dallas, Cowboys fans are like the Mavs. Dallas fans can't deal with more, bro. Like we might actually
that whole
not be able to move
slow.
this one because we might lose Dallas fans in general.
Yeah.
But the fact that there has been some of this internal discussion on the possibility of moving them, you just promoted Brian Schottenheimer, who in a surprising promotion, nobody expected this. Nobody thought that he was going to be here. You would probably expect some of the players feel that same way as well. And the most surprising part of all of this is we hear Michael Parsons talk about everything. He has a podcast. He's on Bleacher Report. Like, he talks about literally everything. There are times where we're like, stop talking, Mike. Not a word about Brian Schottenheimer being promoted. Did like a part of an episode when he did, he was like, it's cool, we'll see. And that was kind of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he likes the move. I don't know if that means he hates the move, but it is surprising to not hear more from that on Michael Parsons. If the Chicago Bears and Dallas Cowboys could work something out, would you want a Michael Parsons in the building?
I mean, you'd be crazy not to. You have to have, like you mentioned, that conversation. You got to pick up the phone in at the very least, and everything points to us, working like that as that type of organization this offseason, a big boy organization. So yes, that's a name right up there with the Myles Garrett. In fact, I would think that he'd be even more valuable because of his age. He's 25 going into his prime. He's had just as great of a start to his career as Myles has. 52.5 sacks across his first 4 NFL seasons, 3 All-Pro selections, 4 Pro Bowl nods. Like, he has the resume that is special. He's clearly on a trajectory, just as Myles Garrett is, to being a Hall of Famer. And so that is the position that we talked about that could have an impact. That's the type of special player that you would want on that side of the trenches. So obviously, yes. The only thing that scares me is that Parsons, I honestly wouldn't mind a team-friendly deal. He's not really going to be asking for the world if it means, creating some money and some space to bring some people around him so that they can actually try to win some games going into the playoffs. We know how special the Cowboys are in the regular season, but when it comes time for the playoffs, they disappear. And so maybe Michael wants to stay. That's my only fear, is that I don't think he actually wants to leave just yet.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't mean that things can't change. That doesn't mean that, if he hears, that the Dallas Cowboys are at least trying to figure out if they want to trade him, that maybe his mind changes and says, you know what, if they're not loyal to me, I don't want to be loyal to them. I can go somewhere else where I can see, greener pastures like a Chicago and what they're building here. So yes, you get on the line and you at least try to make some conversation or some sort of divide between that team and them.
I think the conversation with Micah that does get scary. And listen, I want to be on the phone with him. I want to make sure that, hey, let's see if we can get him here. The conversation that does get scary is what you said. He's 25.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about 2 first round. We were talking about the Mac deal for Miles.
Yeah,
that might actually be too much to pay.
It's surpassing.
25 years old. That might be a price that is actually too much to pay. You know what I mean? Because like you're talking about multiple first round picks. You might be talking about a player in there. You're probably still the frameworks of the Mac deal is probably where you start, and then we add on to it. Like there is a okay, that's a little bit too much there. And that I think that Michael would cost too much, but it's more about the conversation of, okay, what is it going to cost? And then, right, if you're in that mindset, what are you going to do opposite that? Is there a Trey Hendrickson available that you want to go after? Is there a Max Crosby available that you want to go after? Just being, to me, I want to know that the Bears are in the mindset to go out and get one of the best pass rushers on the market.
Yeah.
Even if he's not on the market. Because all of these teams have said the same thing. The Raiders have said we're not trading Max Crosby. The Bengals have I don't know what the Bengals are doing with Trey Hendrickson. Honestly, they don't want to trade him, but they also kind of don't want to pay him again. So they're just like, yeah, we'll figure it out. But like just we had the conversation, right, JC? If you're in that mindset, what's to stop you from trading up from Abdul Carter if you want to pay less?
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the things where it's like, if you're willing to go big or go home, why not go big? Why not go big in every aspect of it, right? I love the idea of Josh Sweat coming here. Josh Sweat is not the lead guy on that defensive line.
Yeah.
I love the Sweat connection. You know I love it. But it's Josh Sweat is not the to me, Josh Sweat is the Montez Sweat of that defensive line. Great player.
Agreed.
Phenomenal player, but it's other guys doing a lot of the heavy lifting and he gets to take advantage of it. And so for me, it's like, while I like the Josh Sweat, I would like a Sweat to Sweat connection. I think if you have him and Montez, you're still able to do a lot out there.
Yeah.
It now there's a lot where I'm looking at Javon Dexter though, and I'm going, okay, now you have to play well.
Yeah.
Now you have to take another step, and you have to take an impactful step in the middle for these guys to be benefited. But we'll see what ends up happening, man. The one thing I do want to finish it out on, hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Hate to do this to you, JC, but we do have over 100 in the chat. Over 200 in the chat. Over 300 in the chat. Over 400.
All right,
400.
All right.
400. There you go. That's
Good morning, Super Bowl Monday.
The one thing I do want to finish this out on, though, is we got to change the conversation around Jalen Hurts.
I think it's time.
We got to change the conversation around Jalen Hurts, bro. Must talk about Jalen Hurts like he is this dog water quarterback that just kind of got carried all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And listen, to some extent, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it wasn't a heavy load on Saquon. It wasn't heavily predicated on the run game. You can't say that because it was. But I think the conversation is different when I have such a game-changing piece that I am forced to turn around and hand the football off versus that quarterback can't play, so I'm turning around to hand the football off.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time you have asked Jalen Hurts to go out there and help us win a game with his arm, he's been able to do it. To the point that we're now talking about him being a Super Bowl champion off of his back. By the way, another $100 million running back that didn't rush over 70 yards in the Super Bowl.
Oh boy,
Here
you go.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Hey, total yards. He had 97, maybe.
Total 97 yards, I believe, something like that. Bears Junkie said no on Parsons. He throws his team and teammates under the bus whenever things don't go his way.
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. He do. Hey, we got to stop the podcast, guys. These podcasts are doing a little too much damage to these locker rooms.
That's
Not
true.
in winning cultures.
That's true.
But I mean, like, dog, the to me, the conversation on Jalen Hurts has to be that this guy is, whenever you need him to be, he can be an elite quarterback. He can get the job done.
Yeah.
Whenever you need him to be. And it's so funny to me that we just talk about him like he's almost like he's Jared Goff in LA, right? Like that's kind of how people look at him. Like, yeah, he's good enough to get there, but we know it's on the back of the other guys there. It's like, no, I have Saquon Barkley back there. What do you want me to do? Not hand him the football off?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's weird to me.
I've always viewed, Jalen Hurts would, and it could have been a little bit of being a hater because, at that time, that was when I was like rooting for Justin Fields, because that was around the time that a lot of people were saying that, oh, Jalen Hurts is better than Justin Fields. And I was just constantly like saying, oh, that's because he went to the Eagles. Eagles got everything. They got everything. He's getting the Brock Purdy treatment because they have the best offensive line. They got the trenches addressed. They had an even better, honestly, defensive line back when they won their first championship, or rather after they got Jalen Hurts, I should say. They had the same weapons at wide receiver. They had the same weapons at tight end. I mean, they had everything. And so for me, I was just always thinking that this guy's overrated because he has a whole team that's making him look better than what he was. And then going back to college, I always thought he was overrated because, he transferred from Alabama and then went to Oklahoma, made a name for himself. I'm like, okay, you couldn't get it done at one of the biggest schools that always gets everybody and makes everybody look good at the Crimson Tide. You had to transfer. So my thing is that, yeah, there was a little bit of that in there, but at this point in time, you do have to give him credit. Like you mentioned earlier, he seems healthier. He seems quicker. When you account for the most rushing yards on your team, when you have an MVP caliber type running back behind you in Saquon, that the defense definitely contained for the most part. He only had a few chunk runs of maybe 8 or 10 yards. He didn't have any really explosive plays. Jalen Hurts took advantage of what the defense gave him. There were so many times where he picked up pivotal first downs because he saw a lane and he took it.
Yeah.
He had enough speed where he got it, he slid down, and then moved the chain. So, you have a good at the very end of the day, I think he has a high IQ. He knows exactly what he needs to do. There are times where he doesn't really, match up a pair or connect with his receivers. At times you see AJ Brown sometimes complaining on the sideline. He does not get enough touches.
Even yesterday he was complaining. I was like, let him get you the ball. Give him a second.
It was literally right before I think he scored, right? Him and Sirianni were caught arguing with each other. Then the next play, he gets the touchdown after the NO. So, yeah, I mean, but Jalen Hurts overall, you can tell that he is becoming a very good quarterback in his own right. Might I say he's one of the better mid quarterbacks. I won't give him, top tier for that matter, but I will say he's probably maybe 10 to 15. I'd say 10 to 15 range.
You tweaking, dog. 10 to 15 is crazy. 10
you
to 15 is crazy.
He's top 10 now?
Here's the thing. For some reason, he is, and listen, I'm not saying that it's done, right? Like, you got to keep winning. You made it to 2 Super Bowls. You've won one of them, and you did it kind of on the strength of you being who you are. Or who the team is, I should say. You did it on the strength of who the Eagles are. You need a good team to win a Super Bowl. And I think because Jalen Hurts is not flashy, we don't think of him as a good quarterback.
Maybe that's what it is.
He's not going to stand back there and run around and run in circles and then flip it behind his back and the ball travels 60 yards and it lands in the hands of a receiver. Like, to me, what we saw yesterday is what we've seen from Jalen Hurts all season. He was perfect in the pocket. When the pocket collapsed, he got out of there. He was quick to make his reads. He delivered the football on time. He delivered the deep shots perfectly. The 2 passing touchdowns that he had were both dots.
Yeah.
What more do we want from a quarterback?
No, I agree.
What more do we want from a quarterback? I mean, like, to me, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the top 3, right? I think your top 4 are locked up probably. Mahomes, Burrow, and Burrow maybe one if we're being honest. Allen, Lamar. He's not in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are there. To me, he's not in that conversation. After that, who?
I mean, Jared Goff did have a great season.
Jared Goff had a great season. Give me Jalen Hurts. I mean, like 10.
I mean, honestly, Caleb has way better potential. Jaden Daniels probably is. I don't know. I think their ceiling is more than a Jalen Hurts. His accomplishments are better, but I think their ceilings are right there. I guess Steve-O puts him at 6 or 7. I don't mind putting him. I feel like there's some people that we're missing, like a Justin Herbert. I'd probably take over Jalen Hurts. Think about what quarterback would you put on the Philadelphia Eagles to replace Jalen and think that they would be either on par with what they're doing or better. For me, that would be a Justin Herbert. That would be.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's before we get out of here. I said not anybody in the top 4. You take Jaden Daniels over Justin Herbert.
On that team, yes.
No, Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts.
On that team, yes.
Jordan Love.
No.
Jared Goff.
No.
That was a long thing. Brock Purdy.
It took a bit. Brock, no.
Kyler Murray.
A focused Kyler Murray, yes.
We're not talking about no focus. We're talking about who he is.
Let me add an asterisk to that.
Who he is right now. Talking about a focused Kyler Murray.
Okay, no.
Justin Herbert.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
I'd probably take Stafford over him, actually.
Absolutely.
Baker Mayfield.
No.
Tua.
He beat him in college. That would be hurtful if he could take over his job on Philly. Yes.
Ugh.
Yes.
It's such an interesting choice of quarterbacks for you. Trevor.
I'm sorry. Trevor? Oh, heck no.
Drake May.
Yes. Potential wise, yes. Potential. I'm looking at potential.
You're looking at potential. I'm looking at proven. Hey. Everybody and their mama got potential.
Bo Nix? No.
Jameis.
I want to say yes. Just
I know you do. I know you do.
No.
I love Jameis, by the way. Can we just have Jameis do everything at the Super Bowl forever? Just anything that Jameis wants. I would watch a reality series of Jameis Winston going to different restaurants and eating food, bro. Jameis is just so naturally funny, dog.
Yes, he is, bro.
He has had me crying this whole Super Bowl.
He got a job after football. He's got a life.
Oh my God, bro. He cracked me up. That man said, Pat Mahomes said, did the Lord deliver you from pick sixes? He said, he did. Not interceptions. I got to be more specific with my prayer.
I love it, Woody. Hey, accountability, baby.
I was dying. Bryce Young.
Heck no.
Geno Smith.
No.
Russell Wilson.
I feel like they're the same type of quarterback. No.
Kirk Cousins.
No, because Kirk.
I was about to say, don't you peek in.
I had to think Kirk folds under pressure.
CJ Stroud.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
I'm not even mad at that one, actually. I'm not mad at that one. Anthony Richardson.
This is hard. Anthony who? Oh, and no. He's
Caleb Williams.
Yes.
And then it's Gardner Minshew and Will Levis. They trash. So
Will Levis, yeah. I think I mentioned maybe seven people.
No, you definitely said basically you would take half the league over Jalen Hurts. Like that's kind of crazy to me.
I know Tua's probably throwing people off, but I don't know.
That's insane.
I think
you basically were like, I I love that you spent this whole time making an argument for how the conversation on Hurts needs to be different. And then we're like, I would take half the NFL over you. I know you just won a Super Bowl championship and it was on your arm. I'd tell you up the river for a dead dog.
But
Man said Aaron Rodgers, bro.
Let me get that.
Only reason I get the Rodgers one is because great offensive line, great defense. Great receivers, great running game. Oh, wait, he had all of that.
Yeah, he did. He did to a certain extent. It wasn't like Philly, but yeah, he did. He had enough. You're right.
That'll be I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know. That's interesting.
I know people will come for me. That's all right. Whatever. I said what I said.
They throwing the daggers at you, bro. To be honest with you, I think most people think the way you do, though. And I literally think it's just because this mug just stands back there and is like, I'm gonna just play quarterback. Like, I'm not about to be, Superman back here doing 3 pirouettes around, Wonder Woman spinning and then flip a football, and then all of a sudden it goes for an 80-yard because I don't have to.
You know what? I might have to take that too. When you JP, I completely forgot about the whole. If he gets a hit, if he gets one hit, he might be. Might be gone.
Two is scary. I like that. That's the one you took off the list. You hemmed and hawed over Kyler Murray for a second there
because if Kyler's so talented. I mean, he has the scramble ability. He clearly has the arm. I mean, you're talking about Kyler on an Eagles team. If they get him focused and disciplined and actually knowing the playbook, okay.
Steve said JC likes his quarterback. He don't because Jalen Hurts is just quarterback. Like literally, he's literally just quarterback.
What is the definition of quarterback?
That's that. Just stand back there. Look at Hurts back there in the pocket. Perfect.
Oh, I like him. I like him old.
You like him. You like him. Quarterback is like not the new style of quarterback. You don't want him running. You don't want him moving. You don't want to. You want him in that pocket. Just Tom Brady, stoic, and there we go.
Oh, by the way, you didn't mention Lamar Jackson. I definitely take Lamar over.
Well, I said the top. I didn't mention none of the top 4. Listen, I would take Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Pat Mahomes over him all day.
Okay.
After that,
all right.
I mean, like, to me, Jalen Hurts is neck and neck with everybody.
Neck and neck is crazy. All right, okay.
Every single time somebody turns to him and goes, "Hey, you think you can make this pass to like win us the game?" He does. Hey, you think you can make this pass to keep us moving? He does. Like yesterday, they weren't just going for it on 4th down for the brotherly shove. They were going for it on like 4th and 4.
That's true.
And execute the Dan Campbell game plan.
He did.
You know what I mean? Like when I can rely on my quarterback that much, it may not be flashy. Yeah. You know what he is? I'll tell you exactly what he is. He's the Tim Duncan of quarterbacks.
Ooh.
He is the Tim Duncan of quarterbacks.
Wait a minute now, because Tim, as unflashy as Tim was, Tim is still the best power forward of all time. You're putting him up there in elite air there.
I'm not saying that his career is done, but Jalen Hurts is how old? 26?
Wow.
He's been to 2 Super Bowls.
That's an interesting comparison.
It's not flashy. It's not sexy.
It's not.
But you know what it is at the end of every season? It's
had
winning
a really
football.
Good team around him, had really good coaching, obviously,
At the end of every season, it's winning football.
I see what you're doing there. I like the comps on different levels. I like the layers of the comps. All right, okay.
Like, I just think
that's the only thing, Steve-O, is he's top 5 of all time. I'm not putting Jalen ever in any all-time.
I'm not saying he's as elite as Tim is, but I think it's just remember how you'd forget about Tim?
Yeah.
How you'd forget about Tim and you just be like, oh wait, like he can give us 50 tonight.
Yep.
Oh, dang it. But then, like, you would watch the game and Tim would have 25 and 12, but everybody would have 15 points.
Yeah.
Because that's how the Spurs play ball. It was a very old school style of basketball, just moving the ball around and good ball movement. And they got the Harlem Globetrotter whistle in the background. And all of a sudden you get beat 150 to 62. And you're like, what just happened? How did we just get cooked like that?
Yeah.
Because
Fundamentally
the team
sound.
itself was very fundamental.
Jalen is definitely fundamentally sound. He doesn't wow you with any specific things, but he does. He's maybe a jack of all trades. He's mobile again. He's got his speed back. He can throw it. He can dump it off when he's under pressure. He does have the accurate deep ball when he needs to go to it. He's good in the middle of the field. Yeah, I'm with you. I get the style. We're not saying that he's going to be top 5 of all time.
I'm not saying he's going to end as the greatest quarterback or a top 4 quarterback all time. What I'm saying is right now, I don't know if there's a quarterback you can rely on outside of those top 4 more than Jalen Hurts.
I like that. I'll give him that. I'll give you that.
Just my take on it. But hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We will be back, of course, today for the Daily Show. So stay tapped in with us over here on the channel. We will also have other content dropping throughout the day. Also, if you haven't done so, tap in with the Chicago Bulls Breeze because we got content dropping over there as well. Going to be talking Bulls over there. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love for Mr. Media himself, George JC. It's your boy, Beth the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.
Oh, boy. Is Drake getting a legal battle ready, or is he going in hiding?
I think Drake just got to tap out. Drake need to figure out how to get his career back on.
Yeah. The old shot up jacket with the steam coming out. Yeah, that was a nice look, but sorry, buddy. And Nova said, "Have a good one and remember, everybody." Oh, wop wop wop. Oh,
I don't. Can you drop an album to overcome that? I don't think you can.
No, dude.
How long does he have to
track?
Like it might be GG's for Drake, bro. We might have saw the end.
It was GG's before the Grammys. The whole world is going to be talking about A minor. Jesus.